goes something like this.
This is insane.
Chicken
When we look, you can see families were more than willing to go to the box office to support something like the Minecraft movie, while Rachel Zegler's Snow White Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends. That's how big.
Literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is? Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft...
But it says, meanwhile, over in the kingdom of crumbling crowns, Disney's Snow White dropped like an enchanted apple.
What they really mean is they're describing a worldview that hates you, that hates everything.
Saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insult.
She doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional.
Well, we all basically knew that Snow White was going to be a massive failure at the box office because of Rachel Zegler's...
Interesting about all of this is that the only person waiting in line to see Rachel Zegler.
Welcome back to Celebrity. It's Olivia here. Imagine this. It's opening weekend. The red carpets are rolled out, critics are prepped, marketing dollars have been burned like kindling. Disney's shiny new Snow White, the film that was supposed to reclaim their crown, finally hits theaters. But something's wrong. The seats are empty, the audience silent, the buzz non-existent, and then the numbers drop. Minecraft, the pixelated punchline no one took seriously, has obliterated Snow White. Not edged it out, obliterated it. We're talking 300 million to a pathetic wheezing 77 million, globally, in 3 full weeks. Before we peel back the layers of this wild unraveling, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. If you love deep dives with no fluff, just facts, receipts, and a sprinkle of chaos, you're in the right place. And trust me, you won't believe how this one plays out. And at the center of the wreckage, Rachel Zegler, watching her movie drown while a bunch of digital cubes throw a party at the top of the charts. She doesn't take it well. Suddenly, interviews resurface. Tweets go viral. Clips of her dismissing the original Fairytale, mocking love stories, and laughing off fan criticism flood the feed. The meltdown isn't private. It's playing out in real time, and the internet has front row seats. And the question hanging in the air? How did a billion-dollar studio lose to a video game? And why is Rachel Zegler the one paying the price? This isn't just a box office bomb. It's a full-blown implosion, and it's only just begun. Let that sink in. The Minecraft movie? Yeah, that Minecraft. Just walked into theaters, swung a diamond sword, and eviscerated Disney's $250 million Snow White remake right in front of the world. No mercy, no survivors.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight, and it's pretty hysterical. So it got destroyed at the box office. Here's the box office numbers. The Minecraft movie made $60 million on Saturday. Snow White made 2.
Just box office domination and one seriously unbothered Jack Black in the background vibing like it's 2012. And Rachel Zegler, the face of this Disney disaster, she didn't just lose the box office, she lost it. Online, in interviews, on social media, meltdown mode activated. The kind of unraveling that publicists have nightmares about. And honestly, it was only a matter of time. Because this wasn't just a movie flop. This was a cultural reckoning. A brutal reminder that audiences are done with being talked down to. That fairy tales rewritten into political manifestos don't sell tickets. They collect dust. That maybe, just maybe, Minecraft understood what Disney forgot. People want fun, not a lecture. And the most ironic part? The more Disney tried to control the narrative, the more it slipped through their fingers. Until finally, all that remained was the internet pointing and laughing, while Rachel Zegler tried to explain why her version of Snow White didn't need love, didn't need magic, and definitely didn't need a prince.
every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
And you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
This is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive.
I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it. You didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White.
Right.
Too bad she did need an audience. And when they didn't show up, well, that's when the real story began. It should have been a win. Disney had all the ingredients lined up. A legacy IP, a $250 million budget, a diverse lead to headline the new era, and a marketing machine that pumped more glitter into this film than a decade's worth of princess merch. And yet, it bombed, harder than anyone saw coming. While Disney execs were counting their future billions, the Minecraft movie snuck in through the side door and robbed them blind. Opening weekend, Minecraft hauled in a staggering $300 million globally, nearly quadrupling what Snow White scraped together in 3 long weeks. Let that math marinate. This wasn't just a financial L, it was a public humiliation. The kind studios don't recover from quietly. And the most painful part? Critics mocked Minecraft, called it too childish, too simple, a pixelated mess for TikTok brains.
We're talking about ultra-far leftists, people who believe that men and women are a figment of your imagination, that your money is not your own, that your family is not your own, and that your country is...
Famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist who's just...
Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is considered by far one of the worst box office failures, not just with Disney, but also in the entire film history when it comes down to...
Chicken
What would you say to those who are just kind of overly critiquing the film at this point? You've worked so hard on it.
And of course, this weekend, Minecraft came out, which has absolutely dominated the box office, done significantly better than analysts even projected. And now we're finding out that Snow White has officially crossed 100.
Meanwhile, audiences flooded theaters, dragging their families, their siblings, their nostalgia, and left raving. Showings were packed. Kids were on their feet. Even the cops had to intervene at some screenings because the energy was that out of control. And Snow White? Echoes. Crickets. A few pity posts on Twitter and some empty popcorn buckets. It's the kind of box office bloodbath that leaves studio heads pointing fingers behind closed doors, and Rachel Zegler square in the crosshairs. Because no matter how you spin it, Disney lost to a block game, and now someone has to take the fall. But here's the real question. Did Rachel Zegler destroy this movie? Or was she just set up to take the blame for a disaster that was already written in the stars? When the numbers hit, it wasn't just a box office loss, it was a personal defeat. And Rachel Zegler? She snapped. Not in a theatrical way. Not in some carefully worded press release. No, this was live, unfiltered, and messy. The kind of celebrity unraveling that spreads across Twitter like gasoline meeting fire.
You can see here the Minecraft movie is 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 87% audience score. That's kind of all that matters because these people pay the bills, these people don't. Turned over 157 million while earning another 144 million internationally. The Minecraft video game was introduced in 2011 and sold more than 300 million copies. So it actually has a fan base, user base, people that care about it. In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP. It's $1 billion IP. The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made...
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming... There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't...
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Zegler's appearances on their media platform. She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating?
Clips from old interviews started resurfacing. Moments where Rachel laughed at the original Snow White, mocked fairy tale romances, and insisted her version wouldn't be about true love, because that was, in her words, not empowering. She doesn't need a prince. She's not dreaming of love. We rewrote it for modern audiences. And just like that, the internet turned on her. It wasn't just backlash. It was a full-blown reckoning. Fans who grew up on the original Fairytale felt betrayed. Traditionalists saw her as out of touch. Even neutral moviegoers, who hadn't cared much before, were suddenly asking, why cast someone who clearly hates the character she's playing? But instead of damage control, Rachel did the unthinkable. She doubled down. Sarcastic replies, passive-aggressive reposts, thinly veiled digs in interviews. It was like watching a PR grenade go off in slow motion. And while the studio quietly pulled her from more interviews, canceled future press ops, and tried to refocus the narrative, it was too late. She'd already become the face of the failure. Whether fair or not didn't matter anymore.
Oh my God.
She's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely...
So you had the marketing material not being all that good. A lot of advertisements were really mediocre for this film. And to top it off, they made tons of changes and they strayed away from the source material.
President Rachel Zegler also posted, F Trump kinds of posts on social media. She also said that she hoped the Trump supporters...
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum shoved directly up your ass, and most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you by an ugly woman. And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again. Minecraft movie was a big winner debut weekend.
The internet had made up its mind. Rachel Zegler wasn't just the lead of a bad movie. She was the villain of the fairy tale. But here's the real twist. What if Rachel wasn't the cause of the disaster, but the scapegoat for something much deeper? For decades, Disney was untouchable. They were the gold standard, the dream factory, the ones who turned fairy tales into billion-dollar magic. From The Lion King to Beauty and the Beast, every move felt like destiny. But now, that glow is gone. And the cracks? They're everywhere. Snow White wasn't just a flop, it was a symptom. Behind closed doors, insiders described Disney as a house on fire. Executives scrambling, creative teams in conflict, and decisions that feel more like social experiments than storytelling. The Snow White remake went through multiple rewrites, each version more modern than the last, until all that remained was a husk of a story, held together by politics and panic. Test audiences reportedly hated it. Fans online warned them early. But Disney didn't listen. They were too busy trying to win Twitter, too focused on being progressive, and completely blind to what audiences actually wanted. A faithful adaptation, not a sanitized sermon. And when it all went sideways, they didn't stand by Rachel Zegler. They let her take the bullets, while they quietly slipped out the back door. No statements, no accountability, just silence, and the sound of another Disney remake crashing into the dirt. But it doesn't stop there, because fans are waking up. One remake after another has flopped or faded. Pinocchio, Peter Pan, The Little Mermaid, and now Snow White. The billion-dollar brand is bleeding, not from one wound, but from a pattern of betrayal. And the scariest part? Disney still doesn't get it. They think this is a PR problem, but it's not. It's a soul problem. And if they don't course correct fast, they won't just lose the audience. They'll lose the very stories that built them. In the end, it wasn't just a movie that failed. It was a message. A warning shot, and every studio executive in Hollywood just felt it hit.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform, it is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message. It is just silly fun for kids, which is what...
Okay, so
and the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event where people are going to just be part of something to interact with the movie itself. The kind of thing that really creates like teens in suits shouting lines, cheering, like it was a concert. Check out the energy, unreal. Disney Snow White is flopping hard. Why did Minecraft win? Because they stayed true to their actual audience. If Disney had made a faithful adaptation to the original Snow White itself. We keep blaming Rachel Zegler, and she's an easy scapegoat. And I think they're scapegoating her on purpose. But the entire movie was trash. All of Rachel Zegler didn't write Snow White. Right? Rachel Zegler didn't cast Snow White. The studio did. It's a Disney problem. Disney.
The reason Snow White is called Snow White in this version of the film, because of course she is not white as snow, is because she and her family go through a snowstorm and survive the snowstorm, and so it's a mark of her resilience.
Because Snow White wasn't supposed to flop. It wasn't some risky indie gamble or half-hearted remake. It was Disney's first princess, the film that built the empire, the cornerstone of their legacy, and they let it rot. Not because they lacked money or talent, or access to the greatest storytelling machinery in entertainment history. No, they failed because they stopped listening. To the audience, to the fans, to the story itself. They tried to rewrite a fairy tale for clout. They sacrificed wonder for messaging. And they handed their most iconic role to a lead who publicly disrespected the very magic she was supposed to embody. Then they watched it all burn, from a safe distance. Meanwhile, Minecraft, a movie built on nothing but pixels, nostalgia, and joy, became a global event. No politics, no lectures, just fun, just magic, just what people actually want. And Rachel Zegler? She didn't just lose a movie. She became the face of Hollywood's disconnect, a symbol of what happens when a performance becomes a platform and the story gets lost in the noise. Now the audience has spoken, loud, unforgiving, clear. They're done with the sermons, they're done with the spin. They want stories that respect them again. And if Disney, or any studio, doesn't wake up, this won't be the last box office funeral. It'll just be the next in line. So now we leave you with this. Was Rachel Zegler truly the villain of this story? Or was she just playing the part Disney wrote for her all along? Your move, Hollywood.